Hi, I'm Reverend Natalie Jean, and this is Reverend Natalie Jean and the Word, with the Word and the Word. Today, I wanted to focus on the aspect of support. I wanted to focus on the aspect of being true to oneself and everything that we need to do in this incarnation. But before we begin, I'd like to start off with a prayer. Let us hold the truth that God is all, and God the Almighty works with us, in us, as us, and for us, each day at every moment. There are no errors or challenges that we cannot face because there is no truth to them. God is infinite, and his infinite wisdom resides within us, and we can do all things in this world. There is nothing here to stop us except for ourselves. We've got to believe that we are one with the Father and that we move just as he does. That everything that comes to mind, which is a positive thing, comes from God. And we must work through these things, move through these things, and watch the miracles grow in front of us at each moment and every day. Amen. So today I wanted to talk about the aspect of supporting one another. This is a major thing in God's Word and God's life. We are all brothers and sisters, and so we are supposed to be supporting each other in everything and anything that we do. Because when things come to us, ideas, creations, whatever it is, we are supposed to fulfill that destiny and bring it forth. Now, God gave us the aspect of free will, so we can choose not to do that. But we will come back, and we'll have to do it at some point, because there's something within us that has to be brought out into the world so that somebody else can touch that healing energy that we have. Everybody in this universe has some type of healing energy within their system. When our creations or our ideas are bestowed upon the world, somebody else in the universe is being touched by that creation or that idea. And it gives them joy. It gives them a reason to live. It gives them the idea that they too can bring about their own passions in this daily life. So we should be doing that. We should bring it out. Now, once somebody in our circle or even around the universe has done something like that, we as spiritual brothers and sisters should be the ones that are going to support that thing that they are doing. If we are spiritual people, we are all about supporting one another and loving one another and embracing one another. This is not about who's going to do the best movie or who's going to preach the best or who's going to have so many people come to their church. This is about working together as one, unifying ourselves in the name of God. We are all God's children, so God would expect us to all work together. Now, I have found that in ministry is one important topic. A lot of people go into ministry for many different reasons. They may go into ministry because they want to help other people. They may go into ministry because they love God so much they feel that's the only way and that's the best way that they can serve God. Some people go into ministry sometimes because of their sexual orientation. They can't deal with it. They think that if they go into ministry, they can hide it and then they could push it aside. That's actually a wrong reason to go into ministry because you can't change who you are. You must embrace who you are and be happy the way God has made you. Some people go into ministry for this aspect of power because you can have power, as you can be a most powerful preacher out there when you can amass a wide variety of people in your congregation. You could have 100 or 100,000 people in your congregation. Some ministers like to amass power because they have people that are following them, that are listening to their every word. But I am here to tell you the reason that I became a minister was to minister, to help other people. It has been my life ambition to always help people. I love it. It gives me joy to see joy on somebody else's face. I'm not in this for myself. I've never have been in this for myself. I've been here to help the world. That has been my destiny. That has been in my consciousness since I was little. And I'm so glad that I am able to bring about different types of teachings, mainly Mama Curtis Hopkins' teachings, to the world so that they can understand who they are and bring about this power that is yearning in their bodies to come out for them to do the wonderful things that they're supposed to do in this earth. Now, during this path in ministry, you don't have to be a minister to help other people, but during this path of wanting to help other people, I have found things that have been extremely challenging in view of this type of work. You know, there are some people that just don't want to support you. They don't want to support anything that you're doing, even when you're showing that you're elevating yourself, you're helping other people, there tends to be some kind of jealous reaction. There shouldn't be. We are all successful in this universe. There's no one that's not successful. The only person that's not successful is the person that doesn't believe that they are successful. We all have power. We all have the same God power. It come to my attention that certain people put people on pedestals. Sometimes people put ministers on pedestals when they shouldn't be. Sometimes they're calling their ministers masters when they shouldn't be. Because we are all masters on this planet. I don't care where you are spiritually or where you are religiously. We are all masters on this planet. We are masters of this domain. We all have the power to succeed. There are no impossibilities with any of us. There are only impossibilities because we believe that there are impossibilities. I know that there are no impossibilities because I'm always working with God in everything that I do. I am supported by God. Now I have to give you a little story. The reason I bring this aspect of support about is because this past weekend, I had a movie screening about this wonderful new movie that came out, which is What is New Thought? And basically it teaches you about the different people that were involved in the New Thought movement. It talks about my girl Emma Curtis Hopkins, Ernest Holmes, Charles Fillmore, Myrtle Fillmore, the different religious modalities, Christian Science, religious science, unity, divine science. It talks about Melinda Kramer. It is a beautiful movie that I wanted to bring about. It is directed and produced by John Miller, and it's just a fabulous movie. You get to really understand how the mind evolves and how we are so powerful, how we can move the planet all around us if we just believe. Now, I had advertised for this, sent it to the different schools, let people know about it, and so the room fit about 90 people. You know, I spent $300 doing this. And what ended up happening is that the same people that always support me came. Obviously, my mother came and some other people. But in total, we had about 6 people that came to support the movie. And when the movie was finished, they loved the movie. They absolutely thought it was fabulous. They thought so many people should watch this movie because they would understand their lives better and they would know how to move their lives. It is a very important movie. So one of the things that came out of it is that people said, well, you know, we should bring it to Haiti. You know, that's where my family's from. And they said that we should bring that to them because Haiti needs a lot of encouragement. They need that spiritual guidance to show them how to work their mind, how to work their consciousness, to believe that they are something, to believe that it's not just, you know, the poor little country Haiti, that they are a vibrant Haitian country. They've always been a vibrant Haitian country, and they will always be a vibrant Haitian country. But if they would only believe in that aspect and see it, they would understand it. So this movie would make a big difference, we believe, if it came to Haiti. So, you know, the people came, they supported the movie, and, you know, they asked me, like, where is everybody? I said I sent it out. People said they would come, not come, whatever. It is about supporting the effort. And this thing was not even about me. It was about, you know, the money was going to go to the ECH Theological Association, and then the rest of the money was going to, half of the money was going to go to John Miller because he put a lot of his own financing into this movie. So this aspect of supporting, it is very important that we support one another in the aspects of spirituality. I even put out a newsletter that I pay for myself, a bi-weekly newsletter, and I encourage people to always send me their information. If you're writing a book, you're planning a show, you have a radio show, you're coming out with a movie, you're doing a DVD, I don't care what it is, as long as it's some kind of spiritual thing that you're doing, or it could be a self-help thing, bring it to me, send it to me. I will put it in my newsletter and let other people know. This is how we work together. Now, the other aspect that I like to do is like I like to talk about one individual that is doing something out there in the spiritual world. I have asked people, bring them to me. I will put them in the newsletter. Let people know what you're doing. And can I tell you, there's not one person that has even mentioned anybody that they would recommend. And I find this exceptionally sad. Exceptionally sad. We are supposed to be here to support one another. You don't have to follow the person on Twitter. You don't have to do this. You don't have to follow them, like them on Facebook. But we're here to support, engage other people. We're not supposed to be in this competition mode. Oh, my book is better than your book. That has no bearing in my life. Because I know my place in God, with God, around God, because I love God and God loves me. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't love anybody else, because he loves everybody that walks on this planet. Now, I bring this story about support up is because when the movie was done and, I looked around, I said, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm trying to get support from all these people around the world because the God within them resides within them, but I forgot one specific principle. Where is my support? My support is God. That is all that I need. And I know that by the fact that these 6 people were able to watch this movie, people are going to be talking about it. Other people are going to want to see it. But I needed to remember that God is my support. God is my strength. God is my teacher. God is my ministry. Therefore, I don't need to say, where are all these people? Why aren't these people doing things? Because God is supporting me in everything that I do. And I ask that he supports, and he always does, support everybody in the universe. We've got to get to a point where we understand the word support. Now, in spiritual awareness, in spiritual life, we are, as brothers and sisters, supposed to support one another anyway. It should come naturally to us. But what happens is that people tend to get jealous about what other people are doing. Why? I have no idea why, because we are all wonderful, beautiful people walking on this earth with many different talents. We're here to show something. So why not do it? Instead of getting angry or jealous about what somebody else is doing and how they are evolving, go do it yourself. Go do it yourself. You have the capability of doing it. You have the capability of moving your life, shaking things up, making a difference in the world. I myself, every day think of something new that I can do. Now, do I have the time for it? I always say to myself, oh my gosh, here's another idea. How can I squeeze that in to my daily life and everything that I'm already doing? And you know what? The answer always comes. God is going to help you do it. So if you need help, you go to God. I have a friend that, sometimes he speaks in negative tones. And recently, he's trying to sell something on Craigslist, and I told him. He said, oh, it probably won't sell. I said, well, you got to change your mindset. If you think it's not going to sell, then it's not going to sell. And he wants a specific price for his. I told him, I said, don't worry, it's going to sell. By the end of the week, by the end of next week, I know that it will have been sold, and he will be shocked by how God works. By how God works. If you have people in your lives that are trying to give you some kind of negativity and say, oh, that's not going to work, you tell them, I work with God. All things work with God. Because they do. Now, if something doesn't work out in your life and you say that you work with God, there was some kind of negativity that was happening during that moment. Because God doesn't work with negativity. He only works in truth. That it is good for us and we ought to have it. That we ought to have the satisfaction that we want in this life. We ought to have that satisfaction. It's interesting. We're always trying to get miracles and blessings in our lives, like there is something special about getting these things. But Emma Curtis Hopkins will tell you that we don't need miracles or blessings because those things that we want should be natural. They should be natural. This should be the way that we are living. We should demand something, and it should come out right in front of us. That is how Jesus worked. He knew his oneness with God. He knew his Father. He said, that's my daddy. Therefore, when I command something, it's going to appear that right there, that instant. And basically it did. God is good, and so are we. So why not become like Jesus? Not Jesus, the Christ. Why don't we work with the Christ within us and work with that power to manifest the things that we think are not there? You know, all the things that we want in this lifetime are actually there, but we have to bring them from the invisible to the visible. We lack nothing. And that's one of the things that was talked about in the New Thought movie. We lack nothing. All the things that we want are right here in our consciousness. We've been living in this human conditioning, this human world for the longest time, that we have been veiled by this idea that there is only other people that can amass things, but we can't. But that is not the truth. The truth is that if we work our minds right, know who we are and who we are connected to, it's almost like when people say, well, I've got a connection here, I can make that happen. Well, I say, I've got a connection to God, I can make it happen for you. But you're going to have to work with me too. You're going to have to take away all the negativity and work with the positive vibe that's in your body, because that positive vibe is called God. And when you start working with God, there are many things that are going to appear that are there already. When you're asking for substance and you're thinking lack, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get lack. Because your mindset is so focused on what you don't have, that substance that you want is not going to appear. So you say to God, bring to me within my spiritual bank account that I know that I have that's already there, bring it to me. Bring me the $10,000 that I know is there. Lay it in my hands. Bring it to my door, because I know when I ask you for something, it's going to be handed to me right then and there. And then we have to work in the now. We don't work in the past. We don't work in the future. We work in the now. We manifest things now. And then when you ask for the thing that's already there, you let it go. You let God work. And that is one of the things that's a major problem with spiritual religious people. They won't let God work. Let him do his thing. Ask and let it go. Go about your business. And know that no matter what, that thing you asked for to come to the visible is right there in the visible, that is going to appear to you that very instant. That is the way that we need to work with God. That is the way that we need to work with ourselves. And it's the same thing. You've got to know that you are deserving and worthy of the thing that you want. That is already there. When you love yourself so much and you see your worth and you know that God is your Father, that he's working with you and for you and as you will manifest that thing outright. Because you're going to say, you know what, I love me. And there's nothing wrong with saying I love me. It is a beautiful thing to love yourself and work with yourself at every moment of the day. Because when you're doing that, you're loving God. You're loving the God within you, loving the power within you, you're loving all things around you. You're loving your environment, you're loving your universe. And when all those things that are surrounding you is filled with love, that is all that you can see. That is all that's going to be brought to you. You'll never know anything about lack, because God and lack, they don't go together. They equal nothing. But God in the supply and abundance and love and harmony and peace amounts to a bunch of beautiful things in our lives. So in turn, we need to change our consciousness. We need to change our concepts. We need to change our concepts about levels of people and power and besting somebody else and supporting this and supporting that. We need to understand we are all on the same level. All on the same level. I don't care what degree you have. I don't care if you only went to kindergarten. I don't care if you went to the Ivy League. I don't care where you come from. We are all on the same level. All on the same level. God doesn't look at us any differently. He looks at all of us as the same. And we need to start working with this concept that we are good. That we are good and we deserve good. That's all of us deserves. Some of us may have had a lifetime of challenges and errors, but we're the only people that can change that out of our lives. We need to take action and move and let God work. That is important. Let him work. Let him do his thing. And if you're the type of person that's reading the Bible all the time, you would know that God said, look unto me and ye be saved. Look unto me. Let it go. Let me do my thing and watch me work. Now for myself, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm preparing to run a half marathon in October. Am I a runner? I am a runner now. Because when I get on the treadmill or I go outside, I said, okay, God, let's go. Or I said, okay, Archangel Michael and God, let's go. Or I said, okay, Archangel Michael, God and Jesus, let's go. I said, Archangel Michael, give me wings. God, work through me, and Jesus, lead the way. And every time I get on the treadmill, and I hear the voice. The voice is always telling me, okay, Natalie, you can do this. You can do this. Keep pushing. And I'll say, but I'm tired. They said, no, you're not tired. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And, after a while, I don't even think about the aspect that I'm running for an hour at a certain speed. I said, oh, my gosh, this is God working with me. And then I start to smile while I'm running because I know what it is to work with God. And I know who supports me, and I know who loves me. Now, when I was younger, I wanted the support of everybody around me. I cared about what people thought. I wasn't very happy. I didn't like myself because, everybody around me was doing this and that. I had to let that go. I had to realize that I was an individual, that God created me just like this, and I love me. And those that don't love me, well, love and like to them. But I accept who I am, and I don't have to be anything that I am not. I support myself as God supports me on a daily basis in everything that I do. We need to learn to support ourselves. We need to learn that no matter what in life, there are going to be times when people don't like what we do. And I'm not talking about the negative things that we do, but it could be something extremely positive that we do. When we elevate ourselves in this lifetime, people tend to not like all these things. Emma tells us what Spirit tells us is true, and and we must believe it all the time, not at one time and then at another return to our beliefs in evil. Truth will not have a divided service and give us the beast and highest demonstrations. If people talk of sin, sickness, and trouble, we must deny mentally the truth of their words, keeping our mind's eye on the real, which is spirit, sinless, and well. Spirit cannot see imperfections. Let me say that again. Spirit cannot see imperfections. It is the mortal mind, which in reality is no mind at all, only claim to be something that these evil things. The real mind is never separated from its creator, and it thinks God's thoughts. We must hold to this truth, for each thought that arises from this is full of power because it is a right thought, and right thought is righteousness. Solomon said, the mouth of a righteous man is well of life. David said, God will never suffer the righteous to be moved. Then righteousness or right thought is power and safety. What we call sins are but mistakes we make in our seeking the good. We are all seeking satisfaction, and it only rests in the good. But not knowing this, we seek in various ways for it, and these are our mistakes. These mistakes are the stumbling block of the iniquity spoken of by Ezekiel. These men have set up their idols in their heart and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them? The idols set up our beliefs in an evil power, for that is idolatry, as God is the only power. The stumbling block of iniquity is belief in sin. For while we believe we must sin, how can we acquire of God's ways? Before we can stand the good, we must wash out our mistakes and beliefs by denial and forsake them by clinging to true thoughts. What we call evil things are but signs that the Spirit is breaking forth and is pushing out the mistaken thoughts and their fruits upon the body. They are in reality signs of good. It seems hard to believe that all we do not like, all that seems unendurable, is good. But if we cling to true words, we shall see it so at last. For the unendurable is not there at all in reality. The substance working with us is the only good. It is the good only. Sometimes it seems to people as if there is so much to learn concerning spiritual law that they never can know all they ought to know about it. Patience and perseverance accomplish all things. When we understand the principle, the rules and laws are easy of application if we persevere. We need only to understand what we are doing and keep steadily and firmly to our work to win. If we tell someone mentally that they are not in pain, the whole attitude to their mind disputes it. But we must keep on till unconsciously they accept our statement in mind, and all pain is then gone. If we have the pain when it leaves that one, it shows that we are not strong in truth, and we must deny that we can take the thought that caused the pain. We simply exchange ideas, sending them one of health, and they sent us by their pain, producing one. We must be stronger than that by saying before we think of anyone that as spirit we cannot be affected by any mortal mind at all. Then keep to our declaration that there is no pain at all anywhere. When we speak mentally to a person according to the law of spirit, we do not try merely to remove the physical pain, for that is but the sign of what is going on in the mortal or natural mind. We attend to thoughts only, and if we know him well enough to know the prevailing thought that is being pictured upon his body, we erase that thought and implant a true one instead. If we do not know him well enough for this, and if we have not spiritual intuition to perceive what it is, then we must go according to the rule and speak to the thoughts and beliefs common to the whole race. This drives out all thoughts of error. If we are faithful, he will get rid of his diseases, as people say. But it is just being rid of those false thoughts that were the soul's cause of diseases. This disease is only a representation of the thought held in mind, just as the picture is the representation upon the canvas of the artist's idea or thought. When artists used to allow their thoughts to dwell upon hell and demons, they produce some horrible pictures. We do the same when we think upon sins in ourselves or others, and our bodies are the canvas upon which we paint our pictures. Let me repeat that. We do the same when we think upon sin in ourselves or others, and our bodies are the canvas upon which we paint our pictures. So that goes to show you when you walk into a Catholic church, because they're the ones that do this, or in some others, is that when you come into a church and they're telling you are born into sin, they are already painting a picture of who you are as a being. They're painting this ugly, nasty picture of your body. And we cannot be there any longer. For instance, suppose we have been trained from infancy to fear cold and heat and be careful of our diet for fear certain kinds of food would make us sick, or to fear epidemic and disaster. By the time we arrive at an age of responsibility, we fear for self and others till fear is our prevailing state of mind. After we learn the law of science, we know that the only cause of any pain we may have is fear, not cold or heat or food. So we deny that a child of God can know fear at all, for as we live and move and have our being in God, we breathe from him nothing but courage and are full of courage. After this declaration and pain, any pain we have, we must assert is the fear being driven out by the courage we constantly breathe, and thus is not an evil but a sign of good, is not pain but a sign of health, is not weakness but a sign of strength, or we may say it is his strength pushing out fear. These mortal states are but signposts on the road to rest and health, showing us which way to go and how far we are on our way. And that is from Spiritual Law in the Natural World by Emma Curtis Hopkins and Alev, one of her students. It is important to remember that everything that happens in our lives, somehow or some way, we have some kind of connection to it. We have a connection to all the energies that are around us every single day. And we have to decide how we're going to live our lives, who we're going to give our power to, and how we're going to work it. Support yourself. Support God in all your ways. Remember that you are already supplied with an abundance in your life. And that you just have to know and believe that that is true. Work your truth every single day. Talk about your oneness with God. Talk about your power with God. And watch you move your life. Now, this was another segment of Reverend Natalie Jean and the Word. Until next time, stay blessed.